Anyways, today I want to talk about a question that I've heard at least 100 times, and it's a good question. It's a question people that are considering should definitely ask, and that is, can I start on a Yamaha Fz09 as my first bike? Now, just for some context, I actually started on an Fz09 as my first bike, so I think I'm probably especially qualified to answer this question. And so what I'm thinking I'll do is tell you how my experience went, and then tell you what I think it would be like for an average rider or an average starter, and then you guys can formulate your own opinion from there. I bought this bike brand new as my first motorcycle back in 2014. When I got this bike, it was between this and a Street Triple R, Triumph Street Triple R. And the reason I went with this is because I got to ride both of them back to back. And as soon as I got off the Street Triple and got onto this, I instantly loved this because, of course, I had more power. So I'm riding the bike on the highway. I get off to get gas, turn the bike off, turn the bike back on, and it defaults to standard mode. I didn't realize this is in standard mode. I hit a bump in first gear, and this is what happened. Totally out of control. Now, obviously I did that on purpose and I was able to control it just now, but I did not intend to do it when I pulled out of that gas station. I hit a pothole that made me snap my wrist like that, and it lifted the front wheel at like 5 miles an hour in first gear. And that's the danger of standard mode. And standard mode is standard. It's not even A mode, which is full-blown wild. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably like, yeah, okay, a lot of bikes have sensitive throttles, but the Fz09 is not just a sensitive throttle. It's a sensitive throttle with enough power to make this bike do a backflip. And so you're probably saying, all right, I'll ride in B mode and I probably just won't twist the throttle in first gear. So let's just try that. I'll go over to B mode right now. I'm in first gear. Let's just see if I can get to stand with a little twist. So the front wheel came up a little bit, but I had to chase it out. And I didn't really mimic an abrupt type of roll-on, but you get the picture. There's still plenty of power. So we're in standard again now. You might say, well, it's just first gear. You don't have to worry about that in other gears. All right, so we're in second gear right now, just riding normally. Let's say I hit a bumper. For some reason, I snap my wrist. Let's see what happens. The bike stood up again. And, you know, I kind of reined that one in. Let me do a better job of showing you how abrupt that can be. You know, it can come up out of nowhere, no clutch, if you roll onto the throttle hard enough. And that's standard mode. We're not even in A mode. So what's the point? I freaked the fuck out when it happened. I rode home in B mode the rest of the way, and I was afraid of the bike's power for the next 4 or 5 months. And I rode this bike in a very kind of humble and respectful manner. And honestly, that is probably what kept me alive, because you have to respect the physics of this planet and the physics that this bike can produce. And so that's my story. Luckily, I've never had any major incident. I have felt the tire spin a few times on cold pavement, and that scared the shit out of me. But aside from that, I love this bike. So this is what I'd say to a normal rider. When you see a guy in an Fz09, you hear like wheelie monster, ton of torque, ton of power, you think you want that to be you. Learning to do something like this right here took me 3 seasons. It doesn't just happen. And in those 3 seasons of learning how to tame that type of power, you have to stay alive. You can't just go out and risk it for the biscuit every day and just hope that one day you're going to be a hooligan on this type of bike. And the crazy thing is that selling a 250 or a 300 is easier than selling a used one of these. And so if you buy this, realize that you fucked up and you've got your hands way too full and you're afraid to ride your bike, you can't really get rid of it without taking a massive hit. These bikes don't hold value very well because they're so cheap to start with. And the second thing is, there's a smaller demographic of riders that actually want this type of power and weapon. Now, those things on the table, the decision's up to you. I'm always going to advise people to try and do the safer thing and upgrade later, because like I said in other videos, they're not going to stop making fast bikes. There's plenty of time to move up. But if you just really are itching to do it, I'd say it's unique to each rider. You may be able to handle it, you may not. If you think you have a good understanding of physics, go out and ride your bicycle and see if you can shred some corners on your bike and you're not going to lose your balance frequently. And if you think you can handle a bike or an ATV or a snowmobile or some other type of power toy that has given you exposure to what it's like to brake heavily when you're moving at 70 miles an hour, or to cling to handlebars when you're going from 0 to 70 in 4 seconds or 3 seconds or whatever it is, then maybe it could make sense for you if you have extraordinary discipline. if you can make sure that you slowly ramp up your learning curve and slowly start to pull out more of this bike's abilities. But if you get on this and you want to go showboat and like show your friends, oh, look at this big bad wolf bike I just bought as my first bike, it will find a way to bite you eventually. So guys, those are my thoughts on starting on an Fz09. Like I said, it's rider specific. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Does it really hurt to be on the safe side and assume you can't? There's always going to be a fast motorcycle out there waiting for you to buy it. There's always going to be a powerful bike. And so maybe the Fz07 is a better alternative to start out on or something like that. But if you do go with the 9, ride it safely and take your time to learn how to extract this power and this anger out of this bike. Because once you can handle this power and you're able to ride it the way this bike was made and capable of being ridden, you'll be able to enjoy it so much more. If you're afraid to corner this bike, open the throttle, it's like, why do you have it? Whatever you guys decide to do, go ahead, be safe out there. And like always, guys, thanks for checking in, and until I see you in the next video, peace.